Alright, welcome back everyone, back to Unmeasured. Today we're going to be cooking just one of my favorite dishes. Vamos a hacer costillas en salsa verde, pero esto van a ser con nopales. So we're going to put cactus in here. Usually you can kind of go up or go down based on the measurements that we're going to be giving you today. This is just give about a pound of costillas de puerco and then a pound of spare ribs, also de puerco, and then we'll show you how to start cooking. We'll get into it, okay? Alright, y'all, so for today's ingredients, we're going to need, first we're going to start off with what you're going to cook the costillas with. The costilla is going to go with a full head of cebolla, or a full head of onion. You can use white onion, brown onion. I personally prefer the white onion, just because the brown onion is a little bit sweeter. So you can use that for something else, right? So we're going to use a full head of onion. That's going to go in with the costillas. Once we put them to boil, and I'll show you how we do that, we're going to have it's personal preference, like I said at the start. The jalapenos, you're gonna kind of adjust everything accordingly to how you like it, how spicy, or how many people you're actually gonna be cooking for. But typically, I want to say we're maybe using 5 to 6 jalapenos per preference. Again, you're gonna put all of them to boil, and you're gonna start off with about 3 jalapenos with their tomatillos. So I'll show you how we do that, and then as you taste it on, you're gonna see if you want maybe a little bit more jalapenos, a little bit less, if you want a little bit spicier. Then we're also going to need your nopal, your cactus. These are going to go steamed, and then these get put into the actual dish at the very end as it's cooking and boiling. And then tomatillos, so you're going to use about roughly 10 to 15 of them, again, depending on how big a meal you're going to make or how much salsa you need to produce for the costillas, right? So we're going to go ahead and count them. We're just going to do... And then these you can usually get at your local grocery store, your local shop. I go to my local carniceria. You can go to any of yours. You can go to the big ones, the small ones, just you know where to get them. So we go ahead, we're going to out of all of our tomatillos just for a bowl. We're going to go ahead and clean these in a bit. And then once we actually put our tomatillos to boil and our jalapenos for the salsa, you're going to want to put in your jalapenos first. The reason being is because the tomatillos are usually reach the temperature, reach the a point where they become too soft. So once you start transferring them to your blender, they become real soggy and then they'll just spill everywhere and make a mess. Not only that, but because the jalapenos take a little bit longer to cook, they're a little bit thicker. By the time the jalapenos cook, the tomatillos are going to be all squishy. So it's not going to be fun. It's going to get very messy. And yeah, so we'll go from there, okay? Alright, so first thing we're going to go ahead and do is obviously we're going to go ahead and clean our ribs. Always make sure you clean your meat, just because, you know, I keep it as clean as possible. Just going to rub it down a little bit, kind of get some of just the blood and the juices that's from packaging and everything. Just want to kind of run down the sides. And sometimes they feel a little bit slimy, or not slimy, but if you cook the carne, you'll know what I'm talking about. So clean them off nice, just get off any of that stuff, any like of the rib, or the actual rib, or the bone dust. So we're just gonna clean all of them. Kind of quick, you know, nothing special, nothing crazy to this. Just to make sure your meat's all clean. You can see there's a little bit of bits of meat just coming off. Nothing too crazy. So we're gonna go ahead and start washing up our vegetables. We're gonna wash our jalapenos and our tomatillos. So you just rinse them down and shake them out. You want to get most of the debris that gets caught on it. Typically, with all of my vegetables, it's personal preference, just the way I kind of grew up. My mom would show me to clean them with white vinegar. White vinegar, as far as I know, kind of helps disinfect everything, kills any of the little bugs or whatever is on them. Remember, these are actual vegetables. They come from the dirt. There's pesticides, there's bugs, there's chemicals. You just want to kind of rinse all that out. Give it a wash a few times. You know, make sure you get everything. Make sure everything's all saturated. Do that one more time. All right. we're gonna go ahead and clean our nopales. For this one, sometimes you can get them already cut and cleaned. Just depends again on your local grocery store. Sometimes they come with the espinas. You want to remove those by yourself, but this one's already prepped and cut. You kind of want to rub them together in case there are any little espinas that are still left on them. As you're cleaning, just be careful. So you can see those are espinas that are still coming off of it. Again, you're going to grab them. And you just kind of want to rinse them off a little bit. You're going to feel a little bit of the baba that's coming from the nopales. And that's okay. Part of it. It's what makes it good. It's delicious. My salad, I love nopales. My favorite thing is en verdolagas. That one will come in a different episode, so stay tuned for that one. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start putting everything into our actual costillas to start cooking them, alright? So one thing we're going to want to do is just cut off the top over here. And be very careful when you're cutting, just because sometimes people don't get a good angle and then they'll slip or something like that. So we want to prevent any type of injury. Remember, everything that you see done here today is done by a professional. Adult supervision required. Remember that. No, but I'm just playing. So usually I like to cut the little tops over here. And then from here you just start peeling it off like this. Just I like to get that out the way, get off that little first layer. So now, this is the most important part. Once you put it into your costilla right here, what you're gonna do is this bottom part, you're gonna leave this. This top portion, you're gonna cut it down the middle. You're gonna cut it in fourths, right? But not all the way down. So you're gonna wanna go to halfway. You see, like just like that? So as you can see, you're gonna go down all the way just to the half point, and then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side, all right? And the reason being is because once it starts cooking, and once you'll see once we open it up, it'll bloom, start blooming like that, just to kind of show you that the onion is fully cooked, right? So we're gonna go ahead and put it in right here, right? So next thing we're gonna do is you're gonna need a whole head of garlic, plain, simple. You don't have to peel it, just toss it in, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and grab your hoja de laurel, also known as bay leaves. Make sure that they're dry. So this is actually going to just give it a little bit of flavoring, give you some seasoning. You want to add maybe 2 to 3 leaves, depending on how big they are. As you can see, those are kind of small, so we'll probably add one more. So we added our garlic, we added our onion, we added our bay leaves. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to add about, I want to say about 2 tablespoons of salt, and then we'll go from there, okay? So with 2 tablespoons, being the fact that I'm Mexican, we measure tantearle, right? So you're gonna fill about this much of salt. I don't know how much that is. It's about, I want to say 1 to 2 tablespoons. And you're just gonna go ahead and put it in, right? So as you're doing that, you're gonna go ahead and grab this. You're gonna fill it up with some water. Remember, make sure you always add cold water. If you're gonna do from the faucet, add cold water. If you're gonna use hot water, go ahead, do that, but make sure it comes out cold from the faucet and heat it up either in a pot or you can use a kettle. My favorite one is the kettle just because it kind of speeds things up. You'll pop it in and then it takes less time for it to come to a boil, so it'll speed up your cooking process, all right? Okay. So we're gonna add some water. Remember, make sure that it's cold water. Because we're using a pressure cooker, we're going to come up to about the bottom of these 2 little knobs right here on your pressure cooker, okay? Sometimes it depends on the size of your pressure cooker and how much ingredients, but because we have the big onion right here, I'm going to go a little bit higher than that. Right about there. We're going to turn it off, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting it to cook. Guys, here we go. So we have our pot with our onion, our hoja de laurel, our garlic, salt. We're gonna go ahead and put it in the cook now. There we go. And we're gonna put it on high heat. And we're gonna let that cook for about an hour. We're gonna check on it in about 45 minutes. Once you hear the pressure cooker start whistling, we're gonna pull it out. We're gonna check the ribs to see how the meat is, see the tenderness of it, and see how far it's cooked along. And yeah. All right, guys. Next, we're gonna go ahead and start putting our nopales to steam. So one thing we're gonna grab our nopales, right? So as you can see, we already pre-washed them. We showed you earlier how to wash them. So you're gonna toss them in. Simple. Simple stuff today. Alright, so with this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to add some water to the bottom. As you can hear in the background, I have the kettle with the water heating up. That way it'll speed this process up. Everything else I'm going to show you is pretty simple as well. After we put this to steam, we're going to go ahead and put the tomatillos and the jalapenos. But we'll start with the jalapenos first, alright? We have our boiled water. We're going to go ahead and add it to the bottom. So as you can see, the bottom is empty, and you kind of want to go to right under this. So easiest way to do it, or the way I do it, is I just pour it in the top. And then once I start seeing the bottom, if you want to get in close on this shot, so you can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and pour. And we don't have a lot of nopales, so we'll probably just put about 1 liter of water. There you go. You see it's starting to pull a little bit at the bottom. So you shake it, it starts popping up. You're good. So we'll put this to start boiling. And then let's put the tomatillos to boil and the jalapenos. Alright. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to throw in our jalapenos. Remember earlier at the start I said we're going to do our jalapenos first. We're going to throw in 5. And we're going to put in all of our steamed water. We'll put in all of it because remember, after this, after a little bit, we also have to add in our tomatillos, so we need enough water. Right? So let's go put this to boil, and then once this turns like a little bit of green, I'll show you the color. We'll throw in the tomatillos and go from there. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our jalapenos to boil. As you can see, we put them on medium-high heat, and we already have our nopales going. As you can see, there's steam coming off a little bit, so we're gonna let that sit, and then we'll wait for the jalapenos to be ready, and we'll see you shortly. All right, so as you can see, you see how they're turning like a lighter green right here. That lighter green is telling us that it's starting to cook. So as it's starting to cook, we're gonna want to go ahead and let's take it out actually. Let's throw in our tomatillos. And you can hear our pressure cooker is just about ready. So everything should be timed out to be ready at the same time. If things go according to plan, you know how they are. But yeah, so we'll start throwing these in. Making sure these go in nice. There we go. And once we finish, we'll show you how everything's changing. You see how this one's starting to change color? Alright, so now our tomatillos and our jalapenos have come to a boil. As you can see, they're starting to split. And also, you can see the color on the jalapeno is like a lighter green. You see? That means it's all cooked. You see how easy it is to poke? Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And we're going to let these sit while our caldo is ready. Once our caldo is ready, the costillas are ready, we'll use that caldo to blend this, and then I'll show you that right now. And while we're checking on our tomatillos, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our nopales. As you can see, these are also ready. Let's go ahead and turn that off. So you can see they're all nice and like olive green. That just means they're nice and cooked. So to go ahead and grab one of these. The splits open pretty easily. As you can see, it's all nice and like a dark green. So good. So we'll turn that off. Now we'll let that sit as well. Alright, so while we checked on our tomatillos, those are done. Those are sitting in the back. Now we're going to take a look at our nopales. As you can see, they look like they're pretty much ready. The best way to tell all your nopales are ready is you want to go ahead and look at them. So we'll go ahead and grab one. Let me see. As you can see, it's all nice and green. Looks like an olive color. You see this? It's all nice and green. Alright. Cool. So as you can see, it's come to starting to whistle, so we're going to turn it off. It's been about 15 minutes since it started whistling. So now we're going to cool it off in the sink, and then we're going to check the meat, making sure it's to the right tenderness. Alright, so as you see, we're going to put it in. So it's still going to be sputtering. You want to put water on, cold water all around it. You see how that's steam? We want to cool it down as quick as possible. Be careful with this portion. This is very hot steam. You don't want to burn yourself. You want to also wet the top.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to decrease the pressure that's going on inside of the pot, alright? So you can see there's still more pressure. And keep wetting it. Be careful with this portion. Don't always do this because, again, like I said, it's hot steam and you'll burn yourself. So just keep wetting it. There we go. So that's normal. It's just because there's water under here. There we go. So you can see there's less and less pressure. Less and less pressure going on. Now you're good. So now at this point, you can turn this off and you want to open it. At that point, once you open it, you're going to take this off just so that the pressure doesn't continue to expand inside. You're going to put this back on the pot, okay? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open it. We're just going to go ahead and grab some, something to poke the comb. So here we go. We have like a fork. Just going to pick up a little piece of meat. I'm going to cut into it just a little bit. Looks pretty good. You don't want it to completely fall apart because you still want to go ahead and sear this after, and we'll show you. So we're going to go ahead and grab a large piece of rib. Making sure it's cooked. Looks like it needs a little bit more time. I check multiple pieces because, you know, it might cook a little bit different depending on how thick. Yeah, it looks actually like it's pretty good. Alright, good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and switch it over to the actual pan so we can start searing them. Slide that back. And we're going to go ahead and put some oil in here to start searing our costillas just so they get a little bit crusted gold on the outside. And we'll show you how we do that right now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn on this one, have that start heating up. We want to put it like on a medium heat. We're going to add a little bit of cooking oil. Oil can be preference. I know it's a little bit, but we have to do a bunch of costillas. So let's put this off to the side. And then as that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and add all of our costillas in here. So we're going to do the spare ribs. Put them all in here. And then we'll go from there. So we'll cut right now to these already in. So now, as you can see, all the costillas are in here. You can hear them sizzling. Right here, we just need them to get a little bit golden brown. Cook them to flavor. Gives a little bit of seasoning. Keeps everything intact. Because once you start putting in the salsa, sometimes it can start, what's it called, breaking the meat apart, and you'll get basically, it'll feel like you're eating a stew. You don't want a stew. You want costillas. So we'll just have everything searing and cooking. And then as this is going, I'm going to show you guys how to start prepping the salsa to put in because we already have the costillas ready. So let's start doing that.
Alright guys, so here we go. Next portion. Now that our tomatillos are done and ready, and our costillas are also done and ready, we're going to go ahead and open up this blender. Here we go. So we're going to get all of our, we're going to go ahead and get all of our, this, there we go. So now everything is ready. We're going to go ahead and put all of our tomatillos in here. And earlier, again, I mentioned that it's going to get all dirty and messy. We're going to go ahead and put in three jalapenos just to start off. So as you can see right here, we're going to cut off the tips. We're going to cut off the stem, just like that. So we're going to cut just the tiny tip. We're going to throw it in. For right now, we're going to start with 3, and then we'll go, after we blend it, we'll take a look at it, see what it looks like. So as you can see, cut the tip, right? Grab another jalapeno. Again, you're going to cut the tip right here, just under the stem, just a little bit, you know, like so. So it'll look just like that, as you can see. Cool. So we added 3. Now we're going to go ahead and add all of our tomatillos. Go. And add in all of our tomatillos. So again, it's 3 to 5. Let's see, 15 to 20. Depends on how many you want to put in here. So as you can see, as most of them are falling apart. Go. Do it nice and quick. It's easier if you use some pinzas or you can use a ladle. Gonna have some pinzas or some tenazas. There we go. So we put all of them in. We're gonna have those extra 2 jalapenos there in case we need them in a second. You can hear our costillas in the back. They're getting seared. And we're gonna use 2 ajos. So as you can see, these 2 little ajos. The easiest way to kind of, so you don't have to just peel them like crazy, is you go here, and you just squeeze them. And then they'll crack. You'll hear like a little pop, cracky noise. You hear that crack? That crack? Boom. So you just come here, and you should be able to just peel this right off. There we go. And the reason we're peeling these off is because you don't want this in your salsa. You're going to take a bite and then this doesn't break down so good and it's going to get all stuck on your tongue or on your teeth. It's just not fun at all. Now typically, this should just pop off like this. Should be able to just simply peel it, but this one's stuck all the way out. It's okay. There we go. Alright. Los ajos. In. Good. Now you're going to go ahead and grab your Nor Suiza. That's how I know it as well. You know, you can also known as chicken bouillon. If you go to your store and you ask them, can I get Nor Suiza? Nor Suiza? They might look at you funny. They're like, what in the world is Nor Suiza? That's just the way I grew up with it being called. But if you're looking for it, you want to ask for it wherever you go. It's called chicken bouillon. So typically, I like to put about 2 tablespoons. Again, we'll just put 1 for now. It's kind of a big tablespoon. And we're gonna go ahead and blend it. There we go. So, as you can see, it's all good. Now here's the big part. The big part, because you're using costillas de puerco, you want to go ahead and use some of the caldo, the actual costillas, you know, some of the broth. So you can go ahead and maybe get like maybe 1. Why not? Let's add 2. Give it some flavor, you know? Alright. So you can see, I'm going to go ahead and start blending it again. Alright, I'm going to blend it just so everything is all nice and chopped up. You can go for as long as you want. Sometimes it may take longer just depending on how quick your blender gets through everything. As you can see, this one looks nice and liquidy. Now we're going to go ahead and put it into the pan. But follow along.
So now that we have our seared costillas, you can see the little nice golden crust on there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the heat. Make sure it's like on medium to low heat. You want to start soaking them. All the way in. You want to add everything because we're about to add the nopales, and you can take a look at that, how that tastes. You want to blow it on a slow heat. You want this to start bubbling. It'll change color in a second. So let's just keep watching it, and then we're gonna let it sit, let it come to a simmer. And then as we're waiting for this to come to a simmer, let's go ahead and prep the nopales. Here we go.
Alright, here we go. So now we have the nopales. We're going to take them out. As you can see, they're getting nice and green and cooked. Got the steam still coming off of them. I like to let them sit a little bit just because sometimes you pull them out, están bien babosos. They're all very slimy. And letting them sit a little bit allows the nopal to soak it in. And some parts that aren't fully cooked will finish cooking by the time you pull these out, okay? So take all of these out, and then these, again, you can cut these to preference. Like my mouth is watering. I love these. So as you can see it's like low-key baboso. It's all slimy. It's all right. Slimier the better. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and cut these off. Put these off to the side. Best way to cut them, again, it's per preference. Sometimes, depending on how busy I am or how quick it's, or how long it's taking me, I'll probably just cut them down the middle like that and call it a day. Sometimes what you can do is you can go ahead and cut them in angles like that, make them even smaller, depending on how many people you're cooking for, how long it's taking you to prep, or just if you're feeling, maybe you're feeling like little tiny squares, maybe you're feeling big rajas, or however you want to go ahead and do these. But we just cut these up quick, like so. Cut them into little squares. There we go. That was more like a raja than a square, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all gonna go down the same, you know. It's gonna taste so good. You're gonna love it. And so yeah, so we'll just do this to all of the other ones. Sometimes you can go 2 at a time. Again, depending on how long you're taking. Cut these into squares. And I'll show you in a second how we're gonna throw them in to our costillas. See, look at that, so good. And again, this is personal preference. You can eat your costillas just like that. You don't necessarily have to put nopales. That's just how I like it. You know? I think it adds a little bit of texture, adds a little bit of flavor to your food, and plus, nopales are healthy flavors. So, new year, new me. You know, gotta watch my figura. But there we go. Cool. Some people don't like the texture of nopales, per preference. There is another vegetable that I like putting into my costillas in Salsa Verde. It's called verdolaga. It has honestly the same kind of like texture and crunch as nopales, but just a little bit of a different flavor. I personally like it. Sometimes I grab my costillas and I make them just simply to eat the verdolaga with the salsa verde. That's just my personal preference. But yeah, so now that these are all cut up, let's go ahead and throw them into the carne. And I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll get a taste test going. All right, so here we go. As you can see, it's finally come to a simmer. So let's put that down off to the side. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our nopales that we just cut up. Be careful, because again, this is hot, so you don't want it splashing back at you. All right. Now we're talking. Be careful, these are very slippery. You don't want these to go all over the place, kind of like the one that just dropped. It's okay. So now that that's in there, we're just gonna go ahead and grab our spoon. Just start working them in there. You can also add a little bit of cilantro if you have some cilantro. Adds a little bit of flavor, but because I didn't blend the cilantro in with the salsa, I kind of don't want to add this. Because it'll add a little bit more distinct taste and it'll change what we're going for. Turn this up a little bit. And we'll be back. All right, so here we go. So you can see it's come down to the simmer. Thickened up a little bit. Now you're good to go ahead and serve. Usually I like to pair this because it's a green salsa. I like to pair it with some white rice, or you can do Hispanic or red rice or orange rice, however you know it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and plate this and let's try it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and plate it. Showing you a little bit of costilla here. Get some of the small ones, those little spare ribs. This is my favorite part. A little bit of nopales. So good. Get a little bit of smaller spare ribs. Look at that. A little bit more nopales. This is my favorite. All right. All right. So now, as you can see, go ahead. We have our arroz blanco. We got our costillas in salsa verde with nopales. Now let's go ahead and give it a try. Some of that. A little bit of rice. Try it, or let me know down in the comments how yours turned out, yeah? All right. Bye. Till next time.